It is a beautiful day here in Southwest Missouri. I think we're at February 5th right now. It's just almost warm out, honestly. It feels pretty good. I don't know what the temperature is, probably mid 60s or something like that. What a nice treat. I mean, it's been cold, it's been snowing, it's been just nasty for the past week, and then, man, nice day today. Not a lot of wind, nice and calm, great temperature, the sun's out. Good day to get a brush pile burned, which I'm getting pretty close to the end of this brush pile right here. I need to kind of push it all together, let it finish burning out, but I've got most of it burned down. We've been under a burn ban for a long time because of the drought, but been getting some snow and some rain and stuff like that, so that's finally lifted. I figured it was a good time to go ahead and get this thing burned before, well, while I could get it done. So let me get this stoked back up and I'll sit down and talk to you here for a minute. All right, so some of you guys may have noticed I haven't put out videos for the past couple of weeks. Well, the biggest reason for that is I've been kind of recovering from some, I guess, minor surgery. I don't know if you call it surgery or not, but I'll just tell you the whole story, kind of what's been going on. So, you know, about 2 weeks ago, well, I guess it's been longer than that. It's been, I don't know, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, something like that. I finally went to the doctor because I'm just not one for going to the doctor pretty regularly. I don't usually have any kind of issues. I go to the doctor when I have an issue and I don't have issues. But for about the past year, this leg has really been bothering me. If I walk very far at all, it just really starts hurting. And I mean, I could probably go maybe 75 yards. I gotta take a break, let it relax for a little bit, let it rest, because it's really muscle pain all up and down the leg, really hard to walk. So it was getting to a point where it was really starting to affect me. If I tried to get out and do any work in the garden, well, I just couldn't do very much at all, and man, this leg would start killing me. As soon as I stop, as soon as I let it rest, it's fine, doesn't hurt anymore. So I decide, well, I better go to the doctor for that. So I go to the doctor, and you know, it's my regular doctor, my doctor I've used forever, and he says, well, you know, we'll have that checked into, we'll look into it. It could be a couple of different things. He said, probably need to get some blood work done. You know, I'm 48 years old, almost 49 years old. He said, probably need to get some blood work done. When's the last time you had blood work done? I said, well, last time I had it, you did it. And he looked in his charts. He said, that was 10 years ago. It'd been almost 10 years since I'd been to the doctor. Shame on me. I know I should have gone earlier, but anyway. So he sends me off for some blood work. Blood work comes back just fine. No issues in my blood work. Everything looks good. Sends me to a cardiologist to be checked out. They put these big balloon things on my arms and my legs and check your pulse with like ultrasound stuff. And you could tell it was definitely weaker in this leg than it was in this leg. I mean, I could tell just by the sound. And, you know, so anyway, send me on to the, you know, that was the first checkup with the cardiologist. And then send me on to actually meet with the cardiologist. He walks into the room and he says, yep, you got a blockage of some kind. He said, it's a pretty easy fix. He said, usually we don't see this in people unless they're diabetic or smokers. Well, I'm not diabetic, but I was a smoker for the better part of 30 years. And that's what caused it. Apparently I had caused clogging in my veins, my arteries, primarily on my left side. I guess it was bothering my left arm too. I didn't notice it in my left arm. It wasn't, you know, no symptoms that I could tell in my left arm. My blood pressure's pretty good. My cholesterol's not real high, but I had these constricted arteries. Was not letting good circulation down to my left leg. So I get to go in and get this unblocked. So I go into to do that. That's been 3 weeks ago now, on a Friday. Go in thinking it's going to be, I didn't know what to expect. You know, I just thought, I don't know how they're going to do it exactly. I don't know what's going to happen. Should be out, you know, I went in at 5 o'clock in the morning thinking, you know, I'll be out by midday or something like that. It's outpatient. Now, this was pretty much an all-day event. They went in through my groin. Each side had a little incision, just a small incision they went in through. I was awake during the whole process, and they ended up putting 3 stents in this leg right here. And I'll tell you, those hurt a little bit going in. I could feel them. They were not comfortable at all. But the worst part of that whole procedure really was because they go through your groin, they're worried about if that breaks open, you can bleed out really, really quick. So afterwards, I had to lay on my back, flat on my back, for 3 hours. Couldn't lift my legs, couldn't lift my head, couldn't raise up, couldn't move, just lay flat on my back for 3 hours. My back was killing me. It just felt like all I needed to do was roll over and move a little bit. Couldn't do it. Had to just lay there for 3 hours. That sucked pretty bad. And then, of course, for about a week afterwards, it took about better part of a week before I really felt like I could get, I mean, I could feel, every time I'd move, I could feel these incisions right there in the groin. And you know, they told me to be real careful with that. You know, if you're coughing, you're supposed to put your hands over it, put pressure on it. You didn't want to be lifting anything over about 10 pounds, you know, all that. I mean, all kinds of precautions I had to take. And they tell you that, you know, if one of those breaks open and starts bleeding, call 911, have my wife put pressure on it because it's going to hurt real bad. I won't be able to hold it myself, they told me. But call 911, don't try to drive yourself to the hospital, you won't make it. The 911's got, you know, the hospital, the ambulance has got to come to you, they've got stuff they can stop it with. Anyway, blah, 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 long story short, I made it through all that just fine, but just really wasn't up for making videos that week. Well, while they were in there, they decided they were going to need to put 2 other stents in my lower leg and scheduled me for the following Friday, so a week later. Just about the time I'm recovering from the first one, I got to go back in and have another one. Now this time, they went through my wrist. So I've still got just a little, you can't even see it really, probably can't see it on camera at all, even if I got up close. Just a little bitty hole right there in my wrist. And this was Friday, today is Sunday, so, well, it was the previous Friday. It's been a little over a week now. So it's been a week and 3 days, week and 2 days. And I'm starting to get now where I don't feel it when I move my wrist around. For the better part of the week, if I'd move my wrist like this, I could feel it pulling right here. And I had to be real careful with this. I'm still not supposed to be lifting anything over about 15 pounds with this hand right here, so I'm kind of limited with what I could do. Figured burning a brush pile might be pushing it, but I'm being real careful not to put much use into this arm right here. But it is feeling better now. I don't notice it so much anymore. I've just got to be real careful not to you know, not to tear that up, I guess. So anyway, long story short, this was way better procedure, honestly. They went through my wrist. They found out that, they said, well, your leg looks good. I was awake during this procedure too. Said, your leg looks good, it's all cleared out. But they did find a spot somewhere over here that was affecting blood flow in my arm, they said. Asked me if I'd had any problems with this arm. I said, not really. I said, sometimes it goes numb. My hand goes numb if I'm like driving, got my hands up on the steering wheel for a long period of time or something. But no, not really any problems. But they did put a stent in somewhere around my 4th rib up here somewhere. I don't know. So anyway, I got 4 stents in me. And now I'm on a statin. My cholesterol is not high, but they want me on a statin because I have this disease, you know, introduced into my body. And I'm on a blood thinner. I don't know how long I'll have to take that. Man, I'll tell you what, that thing, I nicked myself shaving the other day, and that just bled and bled and bled. Like, I mean, I couldn't get it to stop bleeding. It's crazy. So now I got to be careful. Don't cut myself. Don't scratch myself too much because I'll bleed like crazy. So anyway, on a blood thinner, on a statin, and on an aspirin, baby aspirin every day. So my point to all this, don't worry, I'm not quitting YouTube. I quit smoking is what I did. But I actually managed to quit smoking before I ever went to the doctor. It wasn't related to it. I didn't go to the doctor and find out about all this and then, oh, I got to quit smoking. I actually quit. I mean, if you're a smoker, you know it's bad for you. But it's an addiction. It's hard to give up. It doesn't make any sense to those that haven't dealt with it before. But I finally made a decision. It's been probably 3-4 months ago that I said, you know what? I'm just done. I'm done spending money on them. It's starting to affect my health. I can feel it. You guys may have heard I've developed a little bit of a cough. It's kind of getting better now that I've quit, but you know, I developed a little bit of a cough that I never had before, and I just decided I was done smoking, so I put them down, quit. And it was actually a lot easier than I expected it to be. Once you put your mind to it, it's really not that big of a deal. It hasn't been that difficult to quit smoking, but I did quit smoking. Luckily, I did it before. I mean, it was a little too late apparently because I already had this disease introduced into my body from smoking. But I did quit, and hopefully that means from here on out I won't have any more major issues. You know, I'll be, I'm you know, have to go back to the doctor, get, you know, follow up here in a couple of weeks. I'll get some further, you know, information on it. But you know, as far as I know, it's not, my heart itself is still pretty good. Like I said, my blood pressure is not real high. None of that stuff. You know, I don't know if there's honestly, like whether I should be on a statin right now or not, I don't know. I've looked into that a little bit. I'm not so sure that cholesterol has anything to do with, you know, heart disease or any of those kinds of things. You guys can look that up. You can research it on your own. I'm not going to give you advice on it one way or the other. Right now, I'm just following what the doctors tell me. We'll address that later. But my cholesterol is really not that high. But, well, the battery ran out. I had to swap batteries out, cut me off mid-sentence. I don't know where I was. But what I was saying is, you know, my cholesterol is really not that high. Like 165 or something. I mean, it's not bad. And my blood pressure is not that high. I've been taking it pretty regularly. So none of those things are that bad. It's just if it wasn't for this, like I said, this disease already introduced into my body, I wouldn't be taking a statin. I wouldn't be taking, well, I wouldn't be taking blood thinners. But yeah, I kind of need to right now, I think. It makes sense. I don't know if I'll have to take them forever. I don't know any of those details. Either way, it could be a lot worse. Could be a whole lot worse. So I'm not asking for pity in that sense, but one of the reasons I wanted to shoot this video is to tell you, if you're a smoker, quit smoking. It's really not as difficult. And I know when I was a smoker and when I was smoking, it didn't matter what people said to me. You don't feel bad, you don't have any issues, you just keep on smoking, But I'm still telling you, if you're a smoker, just quit. Because everything's fine until it's not. And it could be way, way worse than what I'm dealing with. There's lots of people out there that have way worse issues than that. I actually feel pretty good right now. I've been walking around out here, no leg issues. My leg's not hurting at all anymore. That's fantastic, because for the better part of the last year, I've really been struggling with this leg, giving me problems when I walk around too much. So that seems to be fixed, so that's good news. The fact that I already quit smoking, I'm not having to deal with that while I'm going through all this kind of stuff, I think was good. God is merciful to me. Somehow it gave me, convinced me that I needed to quit before I had to, I guess is what it made, what I should say is, and it made it a little bit easier. I only dealt with kind of one thing at a time. So, all in all, I think things are pretty good. I'm doing all right. I think my health is okay. Gonna be okay. But just, I just want to let you guys know out there, if you're a smoker, quit smoking. If you're a young kid that hasn't started, don't start. You'll be tempted to. Just don't do it. Just leave them alone, because nothing good comes from that. You don't want to be in addiction. It's just not a fun thing to try to deal with. I was lucky. I actually, like I said, when I quit smoking, it really wasn't that hard. It was way easier than I expected it to be. So. Now, I don't have any great tips of advice or anything like that for anybody. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update of what's been going on, why I may have been just kind of not as active as I have been lately. So that's pretty much it. I will tell you kind of a strange story that happened to me though. It has nothing to do with any of this, but while we're talking, just to make this video about something a little bit more than just that, is the quail hutch. This was last weekend, Saturday, so the day after I had this second thing done where they went through my wrist. And I needed quail food. Well, I can't, I'm not supposed to pick up a 50-pound bag of feed, so I took my wife with me, had her load that up for me in the truck. We got home, and I went inside to do something, and while I was inside, she actually brought it out, and she put it in the outside, the feed bucket out here that I keep outside for the quail. Well, a couple hours later, she was talking to me about it. She said, when I went out there and put that feed out there, she said the hutch door was wide open to the quail hutch. It was just hanging open. Well, were the birds still in there? She said, yeah, birds were still in there. And I closed it up and latched it. I said, that's strange. Maybe I forgot to latch it. Maybe it fell open. I don't know. Well, I looked outside. This was, like I said, several hours later. I looked outside, and it's wide open again. It's just hanging wide open. I thought, well, it's all wide open again. So I go out there and I close it, and the latches are up. And she's like, I know I latched it. Well, I believe her. Like I said, what are the odds that she forgot to latch it? I forgot to latch it both. I could have sworn I latched it. I never forget to latch it, but you never know. So it just seems like I don't know what opened that. I don't know how. It hasn't happened since, so it's not a reoccurring issue. But that day, twice, that door was wide open. And as far as I could tell, I didn't lose any birds. All the birds were still in the hutch, but don't know what was opening it. Don't know how it got open. It was middle of the day, so. It could have been like a raccoon or something like that, but I think that's probably unlikely. It seems more like a person actually came back here. And I don't know, back here there's not really any easy access. They'd have to go across the ditch if they came from this way. I don't think my neighbors would do it, but you never know. Maybe somebody came by and opened it up. That's the only thing I can think. Either way, they're not still doing it, so I guess the issue's no longer an issue. I didn't take any birds. There weren't like a bunch of feathers laying around, like a raccoon reached in and grabbed one and took off with it, or a predator of some kind or something. None of that, no blood, nothing. Just, everything was fine. Birds were fine. They were all just but they never flew out either. So I thought. So 3-4 days later, Thursday I think it was, Thursday morning, maybe Wednesday morning. Either way, it's been 4 or 5 days. I was out here feeding the birds early in the morning, had the dog out with me, had Max out with me, and he got all excited, ran over here by the garden, and he's on this side of the fence. You know, the garden's fenced in. You can't see it right now, but it doesn't matter. And he was all excited. There was something there, and I knew it. And it was dark. I mean, it was 6:30 in the morning, dark. So I went over there with my light, shined it down. There was one of my birds inside my garden, in one of the tomato cages, actually, inside that. It's leaned up against the fence. So I went in there and picked him up. He was fine, you know. It was dark, so he couldn't see me very well, and it was easy to grab him. I just grabbed him, threw him back in the hutch. So I guess he'd been out for the better part of 4 or 5 days and just managed to live. Nothing got him. So I got incredibly lucky there that he didn't get eaten. He or she, I think it was a hen, actually. I didn't really pay much attention to it, but anyway, got that bird back in. So it's a mystery. I don't know what opened up the hutch. Don't know what it was. Hadn't happened since. If it happens again, I'll start sticking some cameras out here so I can catch what's going on, but have no idea. I think it's got to be a person of some, you know, or something like that that did it, because nothing else really makes sense. Even that doesn't really make sense. Who knows? But either way, you know, I didn't lose any birds as far as I know. Maybe one, but I don't think so. I haven't counted them, and I don't keep a real close count on what I got. But everything seems to be fine, so yeah, my fire is burning down now. Just wanted to share that little bit of my personal life with you guys. Let you know I'm doing fine. Any prayers, you know, if you guys have been on the live broadcast, we've kind of talked about it, so everybody's kind of, it's probably not news to most of you guys. So the prayers are appreciated. Thank you so much for that. I do appreciate that. And always continued prayers for my health, my wife's health. She's doing great right now. There's no issues there. Prayers for you guys too, you know. It always is good to pray for each other in these kinds of times. But, you know, so far God's taken care of me, and it does seem to be like I'm on the mend, and I think I'm doing well. I think I'm on a good pace right now. So anyway, I guess that's about it for this video. I just wanted to share a little bit of what's going on in my personal life with you. And, you know, a little bit of my, I don't know if you'd call it a testimony or not. I don't know why God put it on my heart to quit smoking when I did, but He did. And thank goodness I listened to Him, and He helped me through that. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. We'll be back with more quail, rabbit videos, all that kind of stuff. Leave your questions down below. I haven't been good about responding to comments lately, but I do see them, and I'll try to get them addressed in video if it's something, you know, if I can, if I don't get a response to it. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, God bless.